Welcome to Break Fix's Drive Thru News, your monthly recap for everything fast, fascinating, and usually four-wheeled. We're serving up a fresh batch of automotive headlines, motorsports madness, and car-adjacent curiosities, all with zero wait time and maximum flavor. From Formula One drama to concept car debuts with garage-built legends to the quirkiest stories rolling out of the state of Florida, we've got your fix. So grab your coffee, buckle up, and let's cruise through the latest in the world of wheels with a side of entertainment and just a dash of tire smoke.
Welcome to Drive Thru episode number 61. And what do we have, guys? What do we want to talk about this time?
I mean, Halloween is right around the corner.
Oh yeah, are you going to dress up as the scariest thing ever, a Nissan Altima?
I don't know if I would do that. If I acted my age, that'd be pretty scary. That's what my daughters keep telling me all the time.
They keep telling you to act your age?
85.
Yes, exactly. It's true. It's true. True.
Do they have those Spirit Halloween costume packs that's for Nissan Altima drivers?
I think it comes with a restraining order.
That was a thing a couple of years ago, right? You could dress up as Porsche club members, and then they had BMW club members.
You could always dress up as Corvette owners, too. You got the New Balance, the white socks, the jorts.
Halloween is right around the corner. Have you picked your costume? Are you going to resurrect one of your previous costumes? Do you still have the unicorn onesie?
I do, but I upgraded.
Aren't you Cookie
She
Monster?
is for Cookie.
Yeah.
I'm pulling to see Tanya's Tomb Raider again because I thought that was pretty snazzy.
You know, it's funny you bring that up because October seems to be the month where stuff has just broken or gone wrong. We have some issues on the Clubhouse side of our website where we have to rebuild the vault because it's gotten a little too big. And I was going through some photos and I just happened to hit upon our Road Atlanta trip where we dressed up for Halloween for that Chin track day. It's amazing. You look back at some of the stuff we did pre-COVID. It's really crazy. The antics that we got up to just almost week after week, not just month after month. It was absolutely bonkers.
We tried to be pre-COVID recently, and then the universe worked against us.
I'm getting to that. You know, I wrote an article about it too.
I read it. There's some typos.
Of course there are.
It's okay, Eric and Tanya, given the recent news that just came out that the average new car price has crept up to $50,000. Let's talk about, do you want to spend $50,000 on a brand new car or nickel and diming to keep your old car alive? Eric, what's going on in your world? What would you do?
When it rains, it pours, right? So it's like, Brad, your car, why is it, your stuff's always super easy, right? You show up with a car that hasn't run in 6 years. I throw a fuel pump in it and it runs, no problem, no issues, no check engine lights, no nothing.
Wait, there's no check engine lights?
That I can tell at the moment.
Fantastic. Breaking news, pumpkin spice lives.
It does. It was a miracle. We have video proof that it lives.
Video proof. It'll be on the website. No, it won't.
I'm amazed. It runs on that turpentine that's in the tank too. That tank is full, by the way.
The gas tank is full?
Yes.
So we need to drain it.
Nearly full, right?
Yeah, just burn it off. Just run it for a while. It'll be fine. We'll do the Ferris Bueller thing and put it up on stands in reverse and it'll be perfect.
Yeah, we got to run the clock back.
Maybe it's like a communicative disease. You know, you bring another Volkswagen into the equation. So your car gave my car COVID, I think is what it did.
Another 14-day quarantine.
And now I'm plagued with all these issues. I had a radiator that started leaking. I had all this other stuff. And then it's just bad to worse throughout the entire weekend. It absolutely drove me nuts.
Did you ever get it figured out?
Where I stand at the moment, I got the Jeep situation figured out, which was also part of this mess.
The Jeep and the Volkswagen are different species. How did they contract the same diseases?
Avian flu, all the birds can get it, right? That's what it is. There's so many moving parts to this equation. The Volkswagen I knew had a radiator problem, and I thought it was one of the fixtures on the radiator, either the sensor for the fans or the spigot at the bottom or whatever. Something was leaking because it's a 20-year-old radiator, whatever. Turns out the radiator end caps were leaking on the driver's side, and it literally dumped all its fluid in my driveway very slowly. So I ordered a new one. I was like, it's not a big deal. Ripped the front end of the car apart, changed the radiator out, half a day's work. Okay, fine. So while I'm doing all that, I run out of antifreeze when I go refill it. So I got to run into town. And then I get in the Jeep and the freaking service engine lights come on, oil change due, blah. I'm like, all right, well, I'm headed to AutoZone anyway. I might as well get oil while I'm at it. Come back, engine's hot, drain the oil, do the fuel filters. I'm working on two cars simultaneously, right? There were a couple other things I needed to do to the Volkswagen. ABS sensors, which, as we know, as Volkswagen owners, they don't come out unless you have a hammer and chisel. So I beat all of them out. Even though they all didn't need to be changed, I only needed to do two of them. I figured I'll just do all four of them and they're fresh.
Well, because the other two would have gone bad like a month later.
1000%, because that's just the way it works. Got rid of my ABS light and my brake light that would come on randomly because I had two ABS sensors that were bad. So, okay, fine, took care of that because I did a system scan and it's like, oh, you have a bad cam sensor on cam 2. I'm like, okay, cool, I'll order those too. They're actually super easy to change. You can actually get to them. There's not a ton of stuff in the way. This is where things started to get slightly pear-shaped. So I put two new cam sensors in, again, figuring, well, if one's going to go, might as well do the other one too. And then the car did nothing but throw check engine lights constantly. Cam 1 was bad, cam 1 was bad, cam 1 was bad. I'm like, it's a brand new sensor. So unless I misordered them and they're not the same, I ended up putting the factory Bosch one back in that's literally 20 years old and it runs fine. And so I'm like, okay, cool. I drove it around, ran great, blah, blah, blah. So the next day, Tanya and I, we get a call from Porsche Al. We go over to his house because he's having a problem with his It was like VW weekend. Everybody's having an issue, right? Get over to Porsche Al's house. He's got this old Jetta. He's complaining the fifth gear disappeared. Well, turns out the bushings inside the car, another known fail point on all Mark IV Volkswagens. He never changed the bushings. He apparently ordered them and then lost them. And I was going to order them again. It's a whole kerfuffle. I told him, I said, there's no amount of adjusting on this planet that I can do to this shift linkage. Fifth is never going to be found because there's literally not enough material to get the cables over there. Like, you need to replace all that.
Could you find parts from Home Depot?
I could have, but it wasn't worth it. There's a kit from Diesel Geek in Texas for $50. Takes care of the problem for the rest of your life.
Not Kerma TDI?
No. Diesel Geek.
Got it.
Driving back with the Jeep, we go merge on the highway. I made it, 25 yards down the off ramp. And we heard this pop whoosh sound come from somewhere in the engine compartment. And I'm like, man, we just totally lost all boost. And then big red lights on the center dash. And it's like service throttle control module. And I'm like, oh no, I went through this once before when the Jeep was newer and it was covered under warranty. It's like a $4,000 replacement to do this thing because it's a module on the transmission. It connects to the throttle position sensor and you got to do all this stuff. And it's a nightmare. It was in the shop for like a week, right, for them to do this. And I'm like, I am not looking forward to this one bit. Luckily, the Jeep has Torquems. It has a lot of Torquems. Mind you, Sunday morning, people are going to church, going to brunch, wherever they're going. We've managed to keep up with traffic with no boost. I'm like fooling the transmission. I'm playing with the throttle to get it to shift and get it to downshift and like all this kind of stuff. It locks out the manual controls, so you can't use the flappy paddles. You can't put it in sport mode. And God forbid you turn it off. So it's like, let's just get home. We limp all the way home. And then I just park it. And we were supposed to go to a trunk or treat at the Carlisle Fairgrounds where they hold, Corvettes of Carlisle and the GM Nationals and the Ford Nationals and all these big shows. And we even did a swap meet there many, many years ago. Again, going through all these pictures in the fall. Do you remember when we did the Euro show and sold off all that stuff?
Yep.
So same place, right? Pack up the fam. We're going to go to the trunk or treat. I decided to take the Volkswagen because it's ready to go. Everything's fixed, The doctor cleared it for service. I make it, 5-6 miles from the house, not even. And we're in a line of cars going up north towards Pennsylvania. And suddenly it just starts bucking and lurching. And the EPC light on the dashboard is flashing, which is the equivalent to the service throttle control module that was on the Jeep. And I'm like, it's been 2 hours. Did the cars talk to each other? Are they in cahoots? What the hell's going on here?
Delusion.
So we're on the side of the road. I pull off into this like little farmette. I don't even know what to call it. Like, dude shows up with a tractor. He's like, y'all all right? You need anything? And I'm like, if you don't have an OBD scanner, no. I can't do anything for you.
You don't keep one in the car?
I should. At this point, I should. I've got like 12 different kinds too, which is the ironic part. Realizing that it was the EPC and thinking back to last year, I had an issue where I was driving to meet up with Mountain Man Dan and the car started doing some weird stuff on the highway, like bucking and lurching and whatever. But I was able to reset it by, doing the old key trick. You're like 60 miles an hour, kill the ignition, pop the clutch, turn it back on and just keep going, right? And it cleared itself out and showed itself every now and again, just a weird hesitation when you're going down the highway. everything I read online is like throttle body, throttle position sensor. It's all together, right? It's all electronic. It's also, again, 20 plus years old.
Mm.
So I'm like, oh man, it finally kicked the bucket. I popped the hood, I get out, I pulled both connectors from the cam sensors just in case. Something was weird with those because they were giving me issues before. And I also popped the connector to the throttle body and we let it sit for a minute. Plugged everything back in. Brah, fires up. And we're like, cool, we're going to get the heck out of here. Make it 50 yards. Bark, 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 bark. Cars running like crap. Pull into the air park. And then my wife has to come bring me the scanner and, kind of help bail me out and all this kind of thing. So to make a long story short, we kept doing this every couple miles and then the car would fail. And I was trying to get it home. In limp mode, the Volkswagen, though it has torque too, the computer will not let it go above 20 mile an hour. It's pathetic, right? At least the Jeep, I mean, we could get it up to 70 as long as you played with the transmission and you kept it within the power band where it would make torque. It was fine. You could keep up with traffic. The Volkswagen, it was impossible. Finally, it just died right in front of a restaurant. So we pulled in, we found an open parking spot, and then this other VW owner comes running over. He's got an EOS, just starts helping us push the car. So we backed it into a spot. I called AAA. They towed me home.
What did you get to eat at the restaurant while you were waiting for AAA?
Nothing.
Well, that sounds like a bad time then. You should have went inside and sat and ate. Was it at least a good restaurant? Like, what was it? Was it Denny's?
No, it was a diner.
Perfect. You should have went in and got some pie. I feel like you did yourself a disservice.
You're not wrong about that. If AAA had done what they normally do, which is we'll be there in 20 minutes and 3 hours later they show up. Instead, this guy, he was there, had us hooked up and delivered in less than an hour. Domino's isn't even that fast, right? It's like, boom,
Yep.
Done. There was no time to get pie because we were in and out.
There's always time for pie.
I'm tired. I'm defeated. I'm deflated. Both cars are down. I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. To make matters worse, then we decided to watch the Formula One race, which we'll get to. So jump ahead to Monday. The Jeep's fixed. With a bunch of MacGyvering, a bunch of mistakes, I was able to come up with a solution. And where the problem came from, I was right. What I heard was not incorrect. It was a boost leak. Like something in the system blew apart. It's not where I expected it to blow apart. And so, the ECU says under boost. And I'm like, okay, it's all turbo related. Either I blew up the turbo or it's something in the intercooler system broke. Not a problem. What was going on is it was separating, mind you, after almost 5 years of being on the car, the silicone adapter for my intercooler kit kept coming off the throttle body. And so it was just venting to atmosphere. So the motor was literally pulling no air filter, no nothing. It was just pulling whatever air it could from under the hood.
Can you reenact that motion again for our viewers? What was that motion?
Yeah.
But for those that can't see, it's the shake weight motion.
So anyway, some MacGyvering, some trial and error, some test driving and whatnot. What I ended up doing was I went back to the factory part, cut it, and made a hybrid solution. I basically forced their silicone to work with the metal, and I made a piece that actually holds on. Like you can put full Brad strength on it. It's not coming off of the throttle body now, which is nice. When I drove it, it feels peppier because now there's not boost leak at the throttle body.
I feel like you did yourself a disservice again, not fixing it with Volkswagen parts, because that's what we tend to do.
Well, I used the Volkswagen band clamp because I needed something bigger.
That counts.
Okay, that counts. All right, that works. I'm waiting on a throttle body for the Volkswagen, but that'll get fixed soon enough. So that should be pretty easy. My only fear is that these days, the quality of the parts is what scares me. The 20-year-old part lasted 20 years. The new parts that are coming from City of Industry, China, if they last 20 minutes, I'll be happy. And it's sort of like Harbor Freight. If it lasts 30 days, you're doing pretty good.
Yeah, they're like single-use tools.
I have a similar problem or experienced the similar poltergeist on the Beetle right now that I can't get it to not have a check engine light or not have a failed readiness state. And one of my codes was cam position sensor. So I changed the cam position sensor, still have the code. Find out that maybe it's the crankshaft position sensor, change crankshaft position sensor, still have the code, wait, put the original 20 some odd year old camshaft position sensor back on. Oh, I don't have a code anymore regarding, I got a different code now for something else, but I don't have that code anymore. But I bought a German part.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Eric, how come you're buying parts from China? Can you still get a OEM?
Well, you can still buy. So, like, I could have bought Bosch OEM or genuine VW Audi
That's a genuine,
camshaft
yeah,
position
yeah,
sensor for like $300, right? Or then you look at the made in Germany blah 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 one for 30.
yeah.
How do you know what the difference is? And how do you know that that other company didn't make it for Bosch and they put, I don't know. So to your point, the throttle bodies for the 24 valve VR6s, they are no longer available. Nobody has them unless you buy them Chinese made or whatever it is. Like finding a genuine Bosch or a genuine Volkswagen one's going to come from a third party reseller from basically a salvage yard or, somebody like a Strip Search or an Olag or one of those companies that just takes those cars apart and they got parts on the shelf, that kind of thing. New is not always the option. And I mean, I looked everywhere, whether it was ECS or FCP or Euro Tuning or Rock Auto or 034 Motorsport. I mean, you just go down the list of even the obscure ones, Blaufragnugen and Two Bennett. Like, does anybody have this part from 20 years ago? And the answer is no. You just kind of get what you get and you're not going to be upset. Now, the question is, do I need to buy another one to have it on the shelf if and when this one fails, right? That becomes the bigger problem,
Yes.
or keep an eye out for one on eBay, which is where I also started looking. And I have bought some parts, and oddly enough, parts from Eastern Bloc countries like Latvia and whatnot. It's actually been really good quality stuff. I've ordered things for the Volkswagens and for the Jeep from that part of the world, and I've had zero issues, even coming from like record yards and stuff out there where it's like Euro only parts kind of thing. No issues. Now, granted, we're in a new world now with tariffs and shipping and UPS throwing packages away because they don't know how to charge you for the tariffs and all that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, I'm in a position of if I want to drive the car, I'm going to have to get what I can get. And irony of ironies, the place I found parts that have actually been rather decent. I'm going to use that word. I won't say they're good, but they're decent. So far, I haven't had a failure rate on anything I've ordered from Amazon.
Interesting.
So I ordered my throttle body from Amazon.
On the blue car, before I sold it, I ordered an AC compressor from, it wasn't Amazon, it was Walmart.
Really?
You got the AC compressor from Walmart. Yep.
I would have never thought to look there.
I didn't. I did a Google search and Walmart came up and they had it in stock, and that was why I bought it from them. It didn't work, but I bought one from Walmart.
Hmm.
It may have worked. I never got a chance to test it because
Oh.
I didn't recharge the system or anything like that. So maybe it worked, maybe it didn't. Well, in my world, so you all have issues with your cars. Let me talk about the issues I got with my truck.
I
Please.
hear
What
silence.
what issues do you? Oh, none.
Must be nice. Must be nice.
I mean, granted, karma, I'm probably going to go out and it's not going to start, and I'm going to have four flat tires and whatever. No, you should have bought a Toyota. That's all I'm going to say.
How many miles does your truck have on it these days?
86,000.
That's a baby. It's just a baby.
It's just a baby, but it's 8 years old, and the only issues I've had outside of normal maintenance is the first week I had it, there was a transmission sensor that was faulty from the
Yeah.
factory. They replaced it like immediately. And then I had a battery die prematurely. I put a new battery in, and I haven't had to do anything to it since regarding repairs.
So I have to kind of separate the thoughts, right? The Volkswagen is old. It's 23 years old this year.
Yeah, yeah, of
And
course.
stuff's going to go bad, right? It just is,
Yes.
especially old electronics, things with servos and gears and stuff gets gummed up. I was reading online, there's guys that will take throttle bodies and those electronic throttle position sensors. You can send them off and have them rebuilt. There's companies that do that.
Might be worth it.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's companies that do that with dashboards and stuff from like the old days. That I'm not too worried about because I kind of feel like I got my money's worth out of my throttle body, right? It is what it is. I am curious to open it, see what's wrong with it. Maybe it sheared a tooth or something like that. But the Jeep, as you know, 156,000 miles now, 11 years old, it's been knock on wood reliable. I've really had no issues with it. So my thing is the issue I had, which suddenly reared its ugly head after 5 years of having this intercooler kit on the
It's
car.
old silicone. The silicone goes bad. I had the same problem with the factory charge hose or whatever the hose is called into the throttle body on the TDI. Something happens to the rubber and it just didn't matter how tight you squeeze the band clamp on, it would pop off. It would pop off and it would pop off and ended up buying a new one. And you could actually see when you put them side by side, it had like shrank slightly. So like with age and time, it just, and the same thing would
heat.
happen. You were driving down the road and it would go pop, and then suddenly you couldn't get out of your own way. And there's so many times like, let me pull over, and I'm on the highway, pull over on the side of the road, tighten it back up. And then you'd go 10 minutes down the road and pop, and then you weren't accelerating anymore. So there's something with the rubber and the silicone that it ages out.
And I'm not blaming one side or the other with the Jeep. If you look at how that throttle body is designed, it's dumb.
Oh, yeah.
The way it's made is specific to the connector that they developed, which is like nothing else. Had they made it, like a standard ribbed slip a hose over and a turbo clamp, you could put anything you wanted on there, but it's specifically designed for that piece.
But they all do it, because even the Volkswagen was specifically designed with the, what do you call it? Not a pin, but it's got the collar bracket that slips around it. And even that, like, there's play in it. So Kerma sells kits or whatever, where basically they create a collar on it to clamp it and like force it that it can't over time where it wears out. Their proprietary BS thing, it keeps it all nice and tight so you're not losing boost. But I don't know why they all do that. Like, what's the reason?
Proprietary.
It's like overcomplicating something.
Exactly. And in my case, people are probably going, well, why did you even change those pipes to begin with? Well, first of all, the intercooler kit is metal and it doesn't expand or contract, which is a problem with the factory one, because they would swell and then the pipes would burst because they were thin. The one in particular at the top of the throttle body, the way they designed it, it sits up next to the fan housing, and by engine vibration, I showed Tanya a picture of it, it starts to wear into the pipe. So it's going to end up eventually cutting it. Now, the section that I salvaged to make my adapter piece is nowhere near that. It's up at the throttle body. So I only needed a couple of inches and I discarded the rest of it. Poor design or otherwise, whatever. I mean, it's gone this long without an issue, and hopefully it goes another 10, 20 years without an issue, which circles back to your original point, Brad. I still think it's cheaper to keep her.
Now, I've got a question for you. You and me, to an extent, and certainly Tanya, are more mechanically inclined than your average auto buyer.
Well, and that's the thing.
Given the repairs that you just had to do and not knowing about Amazon Auto and ECS or Euro tuning or whatever, your car breaks, AAA tows you to a shop. In your estimation, I know you don't know for certain. Let's start with the Volkswagen. How much would it have cost, labor and parts, to fix the Volkswagen at any reasonably priced independent shop?
$800.
$800 to tell me they couldn't find the parts for it. Let's start there.
Well, yeah, there's that. Assuming the part was available.
Yeah.
Assuming
they got the part, they got it at whatever their cost is, and they charge you 10% markup.
If they bought an OEM part, easily $300 probably for the part.
Yeah.
$300-400.
There are some shops that exclusively deal in OEM parts.
Right.
They will not buy aftermarket. So
no, 100%.
What would you say it would cost you? And then we'll turn to the Jeep.
The Jeep, because the piping had been changed, if you took it to a shop, like a regular shop, not like an auto fab or a machine shop or, any fabricator or whatever.
I would have told you to put the factory parts back on it.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're going to buy them new. And at that point, I'm like, well, I have them in a box. I'll just put them back on myself. It is not an easy job because you got to take the front end apart to get to all that stuff.
Yeah, but Susie May with her own Jeep that takes it to the dealership for service and stuff, she decides to go to an independent place, to get it fixed.
They probably, for that issue that he had, you're probably talking $200
for the upper pipe. And then the labor.
How is it made stock? Because like that same elbow pipe, well, it's not an elbow on the Jeep, but the elbow pipe on the Volkswagen, I think was like $75 or something.
It's really big. It's like 2.5 feet long.
Okay. So maybe $150. And then even though it's 5 minutes to change, an hour of labor. So $300, $350.
Most shops charge what, 125?
Closer to 150.
Okay, so 150 labor. Let's be on the high side. Be a little more conservative. So 150 labor, an hour to do it, and then $150, $200 in parts. So okay, so 350, like Tanya was saying. And then Tanya, with your issue, and then the troubleshooting, because you had to do some troubleshooting too, even when you got the parts.
Oh my God. With my issues and what they're probably going to end up being, well, if they were going to buy me OEM parts, I'd have to go back and look, but I think it was a couple $100 for a crankshaft position sensor and even that camshaft position sensor. So since the codes were confusing to me because it threw different codes, and probably there's nothing actually wrong with the cam and it's actually is the crank one. If they did change both, you're already banging on $400 or $500 just in parts.
Right.
It's not hard to change because the cam is very easy. They got to charge you minimum of an hour. The crankshaft's a little more tricky to get to. Easily another hour there. So you're knocking on, what do we add up to? 4 or 5, you're like $600 maybe?
And don't forget markup on parts, and then all the shop fees because the environmental this and we used a finger's worth of grease.
The previous part disposal fee.
Right.
Too,
all the BS that is just cash in their pocket. I mean, I get it. They got to pay the bills and they got to keep the lights on.
So to the original question, if these parts go another 20 years, that's $600 divided out over 20. Cost of ownership there is still low.
To pull that thread a little further, you've got a car that you own outright. It's completely paid off. So you're not putting $700, $800, $900 a month into a car payment. You're putting that into a savings account to absorb issues like this.
Right.
So to Eric's point, as we come full circle, I'm going to say something that they say about marriages and stuff. It's just a joke, but it's cheaper to keep her. It's cheaper to keep your old car on the road running always 100%, unless you're driving something that just like is super niche, like an old Maserati or something that just
bi-turbo is immediately a
exactly. You
pit.
just run it off a cliff. You put the track insurance on it, and then you take it to the track and you purposefully run it into the wall and total it so you get your money back.
Declared value.
Anyway, the point is, it's still cheaper to keep your old car on the road than it is to go buy, especially if your car is only like 10 years old. It's already got the updated safety stuff that the old cars don't have. So it's still safer and cheaper.
There's a lot of points here that you guys have made. Tanya's talking about amortizing the total cost of ownership and all that kind of stuff. And I think, Brad, you hit on something without saying something, which was there's also hidden costs when you go buy a new car because the insurance on your old car is probably cheaper than the insurance on your new car, things like that.
And just because you buy a new car, just like if you buy a new construction house, for example, doesn't mean it's not going to have its own problems and its own gremlins.
Right.
And so now on top of that, you've got your $900 car payment plus the service cost and the maintenance and stuff like that.
Let's talk about something there. Because this is something we talked about in I don't know if it was the last episode or one of the last episodes. The question was, in 20 years, what will my kids be driving kind of thing? What car am I holding on to? Given the maybe possible electronics gremlins we're seeing in cars we already own 20, 25 years old, we could arguably say maybe build quality was better 25 years ago. Where do we think a car with 10,000 times more electronics in them, do we really think in 20 years? How do you fix them at that point when all of the gremlins start going bad?
I think my kids and Eric's kids are probably going to end up driving Mark IV Volkswagens. We just need to resurrect them all now and save them and just park them somewhere and then fix them.
But I think Tanya's steering this conversation in a really interesting direction because the cars of today that I deem in a similar category to the cars of our yesteryear. I'm not talking about Grandpappy's Packard and, the 1957 Chevy Bel Air. And those things you could fix them with a screwdriver and a dull knife.
A hammer or a Clarkson.
The cars of today that my kids will be driving 20 years from now, because I did think about this after we talked about that on that last episode, is you have to lean Japanese because the Japanese have brought creature comforts into their vehicles, but they didn't overcomplicate them the way the Germans did, right? I don't want to talk about the Italians. I don't want to talk about the rest of whatever. The Americans are still sort of experimenting. Like they're trying to be cool and we're going to put gadgets and gizmos and it's all kind of half baked at the end of the day. But the Germans went full space program, Star Wars, everything has its own processor, its own module, its own subdivided sub-processes. It's like Tron inside of every car. Absolutely bonkers. And you need a degree in not being a mechanic, being a computer scientist to work on a Mercedes or an Audi or even the lowliest of lowly Volkswagens these days. And so I think the Japanese, when you open the hood of a Mazda or you look at the Koreans and you open the hood of a Hyundai, like I've said, you still look at it and go, hey, there's a motor. You open the hood of a BMW or you open the hood of an Audi and you're like, where's the engine? Like everything's covered, everything's shrouded, everything's shielded. You got to spend half a day just to get to a coil pack, let alone to anything major. And that's where I'm starting to lose my loyalty. Unfortunately, I've been exiting this stage for quite a long time. I've said it before, but it's been a long, very slow and painful road to say goodbye to Volkswagen just because it's what you know, what you imprinted on, what you grew up with. Now, I'm still a huge fan of the old cars, but the new ones, you look at the price tag of a brand new GTI today. I've said it before. You guys scoffed at me. If you go price out the cars that we want as an enthusiast,
The Autobahn Top Edition, it starts at like 41.
it's insane. It's insane.
So by the time you're out, tags, title, insurance, blah 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 blah, you're banging on 50's door.
On a front wheel drive, no manual transmission GTI. Called it. It only gets worse from there. So my point is, if you're thinking about the car of tomorrow for your kid that you can help them work on, the list is going to be really short. I still think the Jeeps, even though I got to talk about a Wrangler experience I had here in a little bit,
Oh, Wranglers are terrible for kids.
they are, but from a workability perspective, they're still kind of dirt simple, right? Like any pickup truck is kind of dirt simple from a certain age. And again, I think the Japanese cars are on the simpler side and some of the Korean cars, but
Yes.
German cars, I would not recommend them for first-time drivers.
It was funny you said Italian. Anybody that buys their kid like a Maserati, even like the Ghibli, the giblets. Anybody buys their kid one of those or the Alfa Romeos.
I was thinking the 500, the
They're
Fiat.
not worried about the maintenance cost.
No, not at all.
True. Yeah, you shouldn't be driving.
No, I mean, I think our showcase kind of went everywhere and nowhere at the same time.
Well, no, I mean, it started with a good point with the car prices consistently going up, given what's going on in your neck of the woods with the government shutdown
Yeah.
and the reduction in federal workforce, lots of people looking for jobs, lots of people penny pinching now, yet still like something's got to give because people are losing their jobs, their incomes are shrinking, but car prices and prices in general for everything are going up, but people are still buying cars. Why?
I don't know.
Look at your 2005 Honda Accord that's sitting in your driveway. Ask yourself, do I really need a new car or can I just put a new alternator in it and just drive it for another 50 years? Because I guarantee you that car, you'll get another 50 years out of it.
I think that's just it too. Like you have to ask yourself. I know the bills can be shocking sometimes, especially if you're not doing the work yourself. To Tanya's point earlier, how long did you go, unless this is like a recurring problem, did you go before that alternator quit? Well, you went 20 years before it quit, so put another one in it. Cross your fingers it goes another at least 10.
Yeah.
And I will say a lot of people did shy away from turning their own wrenches for quite a long time, but I am still amazed by the number of YouTube videos where you can get help and people will walk you through step by step how to change even the most complicated things. And I myself sometimes are like, man, how do I do that again? And I don't want to go to the Bentley manual because that drives me crazy.
It's written by, I don't know who writes those.
They're insane. They're not written well and they're not documented well. It's like 5,000 pages of nonsense. And so I go to YouTube and then 5 minutes later, I'm like, oh yeah, that's how you do it. That's right. Turn it this way and spin on your head and tap your belly 3 times. And that's how you do the shift linkage, right? I mean,
And to your point, here's where I got to give major props to, at least in the Volkswagen community, and I'm sure there are others in the other manufacturer communities, but I got to give major props to ECS Tuning and FCP Euro, mainly FCP Euro, because they have YouTube tutorial videos
yeah.
for many jobs. When I had to do the PCV valve and the intake manifold gasket on my R32, there was a step-by-step video how to take it apart, how to do it, all the pitfalls, all the advice and everything, the tools needed. FCP Euro put it out, and a job that I never in a million years would have attempted myself. I tried it and I was able to do it and I did it successfully. It was because of that YouTube video that I was able to do so.
And you brought up two companies that are at the forefront in the German space, right? They carry parts for BMWs and Audis and Porsches and Mercedes and you name it. Interestingly enough, because they're at each other's throats from a competition perspective, both now have that lifetime warranty. So it's like if you buy the part and it fails, they'll send you another one. And if you buy the part and it wears out in 5 years, and they send you another one, as long as you send the original one back. I don't understand how they make any money off of that or how it works. I mean, you could do used motor oil. We've done brake pads for the race cars using their lifetime warranty, stuff like that. It works. I'm not going to question it as long as they keep doing it. I'm happy. But that also factors in, if you are a German car owner or German car enthusiast, to do the work yourself, it gets a lot cheaper when you have companies providing those types of warranties long term. Because Tanya, that cam sensor, she's going to send it back. Or they'll send her another one. And she only paid for the one the first time. And then that's it, right? She can replace it as many times as she needs to. And that's actually pretty cool. You don't see that anymore. I'm sure there's other companies, but at least in the German car space, those two are the ones that are going to do it.
If you've got a Japanese car, an Italian car, or God forbid, like a Swedish car, which FCP Euro covers Swedish cars too,
They
right? They do
do.
Volvo. Check with whatever aftermarket sites you're using and see if they offer something like that, because that could definitely help you limit your costs. The independent shops you go to, as we're giving advice now, before you go in there and have them do work for you, make sure if you want to supply your own parts that they allow you to do that. Some shops do not allow you to bring your own parts.
Right.
I think Tanya ran into that in Texas. The shop I use here in Virginia, the one shop will not let me bring my own parts. That's the one that only uses OEM parts. I did find another shop that will if I need to go there, but it's cheaper to keep your old car on the road. Stop buying new cars. It's not doing anybody any good except for the car makers and the dealers. So keep your old cars on the road.
Well, that's probably a good segue to talk about the craziness happening in the new car world. So maybe we'll switch back to our regularly scheduled ranting and raving, shall we?
Sure.
And since we tend to lean a little bit heavy in the world of Volkswagen, we'll just continue and pulling that thread. To your point, Brad, times are tough. Decisions were made. The people have spoken. We don't want your stinking EVs. So facilities that are home to cars like the Q4 e-tron and the ID4 and the ID7 are seeing reduced output and are on the brink of closure.
What a shame.
I think it is a reminder that the industry giants need to adjust their strategy and listen to what people actually want. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Toyota, we weren't sure what they were doing. But when Toyota does something, people should pay attention. Toyota said, we're sticking with hybrid. Hybrid is the answer. And everybody else should have gone, maybe we shouldn't follow Tesla down this path. I'm just going to leave that where it is.
Toyota's not without their own issues. I mean, all the recalls and stuff on the new Tundra with the twin turbo V6 and everything. I mean, they make missteps, but they make good decisions much more often than they do the missteps, and they correct the missteps very quickly.
I bet if that same truck had not had a twin turbo V6 and had a V8 normally aspirated, like has been around for a million years, thanks to Toyota's debut into NASCAR, they probably have no issues.
There's a reason there's all kinds of memes about the people and the owners of the truck with the motor that I have and how they look down on all other Toyota owners.
Yeah, 100%. It might not be the fastest V8 in the world, but it is reliable. That's for sure.
It scoots. Okay, so yeah, they're shutting down. I guess, are they going to can they repurpose those facilities to make things that people might actually want to buy?
See, I think it's all about reducing their lost leaders. See, it's all about the bean counters because they got to pay for Formula One. I just keep bringing this up. Volkswagen has to figure out how to pay for Audi to go to Formula One next year. So anywhere they can cut the fat, they're going to cut it.
So Volkswagen obviously hasn't heard the saying, how do you make a small fortune in racing? Start with a large fortune. They haven't heard that before because now they've got a small fortune and they're going racing.
At Dieselgate too, right? So we talked last month about how Volkswagen pulled the plug on the Lambo program in hypercar, right? For WEC and for IMSA. You said yourself, Brad, you were like, I didn't even know they had a Lambo running in the upper classes in endurance racing. Fine. Well, we pulled the plug on that. Well, guess what? Surprise, but maybe not a surprise because I said it from the beginning and people are like, no, you'll see. It's going to be the greatest comeback since the 962 and blah, 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 blah. This is Porsche's new Halo car and yada, yada, blah, 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 blah. The 963 is going to win Le Mans. 4 years later, it still hasn't won anything. Yes, okay, it got Constructors' Championship or whatever it is in IMSA. Fine, great, but it didn't win Le Mans. It didn't win anything of significance. So the factory, again, because I think they need to put their money to Formula One, is pulling the plug on the Porsche 963 hypercar. It is done as of Petit Le Mans. That's it. That was its final race.
Do you think they would have continued on with it had it been more successful?
I think Porsche's got this 3-strike strategy. They either win 3 times and stop or they lose 3 times and stop. I think that's what it is. But the 963 was kind of a loser from the beginning, right? I mean, you could argue, oh, well, balance of power is in the favor of Ferrari, blah, blah, but Ferrari doesn't compete stateside. They compete at Le Mans and then they go home, or they do some other big race. They go back to Maranello and they ignore everybody for another year. The 963 comes over here and competes against Cadillac and Acura or Aston in the Valkyrie, or whatever it is, and gets his butt handed to it. It's just been hit or miss. And granted, yeah, you got the power of Penske and all these other independent privateers and all this kind of stuff. It hasn't come together for this car. And so I said after the first year, I'll be amazed if the 963 makes it 3 years. And here we are at the end of the third year, going into the fourth season. And they said, no, that's it. It's done. Sad, but not sad.
I don't care about that car.
To round out this conversation, I got 2 Porsche tests while I was at Petit Le Mans this month.
Do tell. I forgot you went to that. I can't wait to talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit too. So I got to ride in a Macan GTS. And as I sat in it and I looked around, I said, is it more than just a Tiguan?
Is it?
I don't want to offend the owner because let's face it, with the new unified universal platform MQ, blah, 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 blah. There's a lot of shared DNA between Tiguan's, Touaregs, and all this kind of stuff. It's a very nice car. It's a very quick car. I don't like the interior. The center console looks like something out of the Starship Enterprise. It has literally like 50 buttons because it has no multifunction interface. So things that should be soft buttons are hard buttons on either side of the console, like down the passenger side, up the driver's side. It's craziness. So I was sort of not a fan. There's all these design cues, the 911, the clock in the center. Could you guys have just done your own thing and not made it all look the same?
I feel like the little clock in the center, like the ones Infiniti used to have, and the Volkswagen Phaeton, I think, had one. It's so bougie.
Right? It is bougie.
Look, I've got a Rolex on my dash. Well, it's not a Rolex, whatever, but
It's a Jolex.
it's just like, look at what time it is. Can you read that? Only the sophisticated eye can read what that says. Uh-huh. So, okay, so you drove a expensive Tiguan.
No, I got to ride in the Tiguan. So it was not the turbo more closely related to its cousin Volkswagen. This was actually the 6-cylinder, God knows who makes the 6-cylinders, probably punched out Audi 6-cylinder or something like that, right? So, I mean, it sounded good. It boogied, all that kind of stuff. It felt very planted on the road, but I was just kind of kept looking at it going, I like it. I do like the way the Macan looks. I like the way it looks over the Cayenne, but I'm like, could I own one of these? And that's where I kind of went, yeah. And if it was just me driving every day, I wouldn't want a Macan, right? I would want something else.
It's interesting to hear you say that because when I was up there, I was talking to Tanya and we were talking, I was like, every once in a while, I think about getting rid of the truck. And on the short list of things that I would potentially replace the truck with is a Macan or a Cayenne, something stupid like that, or even a Volvo XC90 or whatever. But then I think the problem with the truck is it's never, I can't say never, but it's more than likely never going to give me a reason to need to sell it.
Right.
And it's been dead reliable. It hopefully will continue to be dead reliable. If I got rid of it and got something like this, I'm just asking for trouble.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So I did get to test drive a Porsche while I was in Atlanta.
Let me guess. You test drove a Boxster S.
Boxster. Bleh. Brr. Ah.
A 944 turbo.
I think I threw up in the back of my throat a little bit. Do you know how to fend the car that I drove? This is the pinnacle of pinnacles. It wasn't a GT3 911 or anything, but it was a 2023 Cayman GT4.
Oh, those are very nice.
It is very nice. It's very nice. The price tag is not very nice, but they're very nice.
No. So did it live up to the hype?
So it wasn't an RS. It was just a regular GT4.
I didn't know they had an RS version of
the
that car.
GT4 RS now, right? You know how Porsche is, right?
If they took parts off of it, it made it more expensive.
Well, they put the ugliest wing you could find for JC Whitney on the RS. It looks horrendous. I don't like it at all. It just looks like a bolt-on you would put on an E36. It's just, horrible. Sort of like that goofy wing that's on the Mustang GTD. Like, it literally looked like they glued it in the middle of the windshield. It's awful. Anyway, the Cayman is a car that's always been on my radar. You can kind of almost pick just about any year of Cayman, starting from the very first ones to the very current ones. Looks aside, the dot one and the dot two. I hate that, by the way, and the whole community of, we refer to them as like software packages, with Service Pack 1 and Service Pack 2. Ugh, it's just a Cayman. Like, get over it, right? This one had been massaged a little bit. It had an exhaust, some other stuff, whatever. It's cool. Like I liked it. I did, but again, it's you sit there and you ask yourself, am I that kind of poser? And would I drive one every day? I don't think I could do either. I'd love to have one.
My problem with the Cayman is the same problem I have with the Boxster is at the end of the day, it's not a 911.
That's all the reason I need to like it more. Having driven 911s, I don't like the 911. I don't like the way it handles. I don't like the way it feels. I don't like that constant sense
It's going to kill you.
of nervousness that it has. Like the
Mhm.
Cayman's super planted. You can throw it in a turn and it could care less. It's like driving anything else. Now, I prefer mid-engine cars. I've driven a million of them. So for me, it's like, okay, great. But the 911, ugh, I don't know. That's a whole nother culture that I'm sort of over it because I'd rather be with the air cooled guys, but even there, I got to be careful because it's like I'm old school 80s where I'm like, Gimbala, yeah, let's go. Like, I'm not a purist.
This is just me being bougie. As someone who's never technically owned a 911 or a Porsche, period, and I see it from the outside, and I like, oh, I got to have the top of the line model. Oh, well, you got to have the 911. Like it ain't cool if it ain't a 911 kind of thing. And that's just me. I need to get over myself and like say, yes, Porsche makes other cool cars. It doesn't have to be a 911.
Cayman GT4, I didn't get to drive it on track. That'd be a lot of fun too. I mean, you could definitely tell it's very well sorted. It's fast. It's everything you want. It checks all the boxes. I mean, it's the only box it doesn't check is anything practical because it's not. It's very small inside and it's like a little jet fighter. And, it's a modern 914, really what it is at the end of the day. So
Okay.
it's really cool.
So let's play a little game. How much is a 2023 Cayman GT4 rough ballpark? I know it's six figures.
I know what was paid for the one I drove.
To protect the innocent, just throw a number out, but not the exact number that that person paid.
130.
130. Okay. What else would you get for 130?
I'd get a lot of things for 130.
I know what Tanya would get. At least I think I know what Tanya would get. I think she would get an AMG GT.
Yeah, for sure. The
And judging by her smile, I think I'm right.
Can I get one for 130?
I'm sure you could find a used one for 130. Eric, you would probably get a newer R8. That's my guess.
Yeah, an R8, and I'd have money left over. R8 versus Cayman, R8 all day long. And I'm not even talking V10, I'm talking V8 with the six speed, right? Like, why wouldn't I do that? It's better looking, it's more interesting, it's still mid engine, it handles really awesome, all that kind of stuff. The Porsches are nice, but I feel like I've outgrown them actually.
Oh, well, you've matured.
If I was going to buy a Porsche and if I had 130 grand to spend, I actually really like the 89 Speedster, the 911 Cabriolet with that hard clamshell thing and the little short windshield. I've always loved those. That's a car. Okay, if I have 130 grand to piss away, that's what I'm buying in the Porsche catalog. I'm not buying anything new. I want something vintage. Now, I'm a hypocrite because I just said, oh, 911, blah, blah, blah. But that's always been like my 911, right? That's the one I love. I mean, I would take a Cabrio and not the Speedster. It's the same, but different. But you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I hear you.
Moving on. We have a little bit of Stellantis news. Headlines today read the former CEO of Stellantis is saying things like Stellantis is going to break up and all this. I'm like, whatever. We'll wait and see when that happens. Didn't they just get together? Feels like just yesterday they merged.
They talked about it for a while, and it took them forever to come up with that stupid name. They were together for a while.
And if you think about it, the most profitable part of Stellantis stateside is Jeep. Because do they make anything else anymore? That electric Charger is a failure. There's no more muscle cars. Chrysler makes the Pacifica, sort of. Maybe not because they're built in Canada and all that stuff is still happening that isn't in the news anymore. So what's left?
That's it.
Beats me, right? But I did find this interesting because, Brad, you know more about this stuff than I do.
Oh, you're crazy.
The Hurricane Inline 6
Okay.
got dropped into a Viper, and it makes 400 more horsepower than the V10 did.
Guessing the original V10 blew, and that's why they needed to put a new motor in it.
I mean, why would you do that to a Viper other than that reason?
Why would you put a VR6 in the back of a 911 that we saw at H2O that one time?
I never understood that swap.
I think this is just as weird. I mean, I don't understand unless maybe they just couldn't source another V10 or it was going to take too long, or are these YouTubers that were just looking for something to do, something different?
They look like drag racers looking to go fast, going to go real
Oh,
fast.
so it's a roadkill build, so they're doing it for views. That's why.
What about the Hellcat Prowler, though?
Yes, okay, so now you got my attention. That has been one of the Prowler's biggest criticisms ever since it came out is the motor was anemic. Why did they do that?
Should have been a six-cylinder.
Why not a Hurricane in the Prowler? That makes a ton of sense.
Actually, as an inline six, it would have fit better in the front of the Prowler than the V8.
Yeah, 850 horsepower Prowler. Now you're cooking with gas.
But does it make it any less weird when it has more power?
No. See, my problem with this whole situation, if we talk about the Viper, is like I'm all for like doing engine swaps and stuff like that, but not to iconic cars.
Right.
Like the Viper has the V10, it should always have the V10. The 911 should always have Porsche 6 in the back. Like the people like Renegade Motorsports that does the LS swapped 911s and stuff. The Boxsters, yeah, I can see it. Like the Cayman Boxsters, sure, but not the 911. For whatever reason, in my little mind, I feel like it doesn't work. I wouldn't do it. Doesn't make sense to me. It does not compute.
Well, all this Stellantis talk is really just bluff and bluster to cover the fact that I want to talk about the rental car I had at Road Atlanta.
The 4xe. Yes, let's talk about the 4xe. I've been very curious about these.
We had a bunch of other options. So I went with William from the Ferrari Marketplace. And so I met him in Atlanta. We go down the aisle and they said, pick whatever you want out of this row. And so it's, the typical fare, Nissan Murano.
Cross Cabriolet?
No cross cabriolets, Impala, garbage can. What ended up happening was there were two Jeeps as we walked down this aisle. The one I wanted to rent was the new Grand Cherokee because I was thinking, oh, I get basically a short-term test drive to compare it to my Grand Cherokee. But he spotted the Wrangler and said, yeah, let's take the Jeep. And I'm like, oh, no.
Two guys in a Jeep. Did you put the top down?
No, it was a hard top.
Oh, so you can take the hard top off. Did it have the soft center to where you could the soft center where you could fold it back?
No, it had everything hard.
Two guys in a hard Jeep. Got it. Okay, understood.
The only saving grace that it had was like, ooh, it's a hybrid. Problem is they didn't plug it in and charge it.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so it was basically flat. So, okay, fine. Everything you know to be true about a Wrangler is still true to this day. They're noisy. They ride rough. The doors don't close properly. They have a lot of wind noise. They have a lot of road noise. They meander around the road. They tram line going down the highway. They're a little bit sketch above 65. It's like a broken ox cart. I don't know why people drive that. And the worst part is the hybrid has a 4-cylinder turbo attached to it. So you got this big, heavy 5,200-pound Jeep. We looked up the weight of the thing with a 4-cylinder turbo. Now it'll scoot. What reserve electricity it has, it uses like an additional bi-turbo. One of them's electric and one of them's air. The gas mileage was horrendous. 17 miles to the gallon. That's what it was getting. I'm sure with the hybrid working, maybe 30. But if it's anything like my wife's Pacifica, you get 30 miles or 40 miles out of the battery and then it's depleted. Then you're back to making 17 miles to the gallon again. So what good is that? You can't put anything in it. You definitely can't haul any mulch with it. It's got a ton of ground clearance. I'm sure it's great off-road. The interior is pretty Spartan. For what it is, it's not bad, but it's not luxurious. It's comparing a Grand and a Wrangler's like apples and chainsaws. I mean, they have nothing to do with one another. All in all, it was an epic fail, and I couldn't wait to get rid of it.
Not surprised by any of your points.
No, and I remember when you had your orange one.
It was red.
It was orangey red. It's like pumpkin spice.
It was maroon, or like a dark.
Hey, you're
dark
right.
red.
It was maroon. That's right. But you had the stick shift in that.
I had the 6-speed in that, and I had the 5-speed in my TJ.
The Wrangler is off my list. I would not wish that upon my enemy.
Yeah, the people that go out and buy a Wrangler as a family vehicle are absolutely insane.
I mean, I was hoping that I would get a duck. I was thinking maybe in the next 2 days I'll get a duck so I can get something positive out of the experience. Nobody would have known it was a rental. They're going to be like, oh, look at you. You get a duck. You don't have a duck on your dashboard.
Here, have a duck. You own a Jeep. You can still get a duck. You get a ducky and you get a ducky.
I was thinking parked at Road Atlanta with all those hundreds of thousands of people. I would have gotten at least one duck. I got nothing.
The whole duck thing like skipped me. Like I missed that part. I guess that was after my time.
Part of the ethos now.
Do Jeep people walk around with ducks in their pocket and then just randomly placing them on people's Jeeps?
I wonder that. What did the Bronco people give each other?
They give them each other oranges.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Very nice.
Hello, Jay.
All right. Well, speaking of infinite new car wisdom, just the other day, my inbox was exploding with emails from all over, from LinkedIn, from here, from everywhere. I'm going to summarize it. The headline reads, GM takes 1.6 billion, with the B, billion-dollar hit on EVs. And I said to myself, is anybody surprised? Reminds me of that drive-through we did a while back, Brad. Remember we showcased General Motors and you were like,
Yesterday's technology tomorrow.
there it is. There it is.
The ongoing joke in that episode was what moves faster, GM or
Anything else.
very slow moving object?
Well, and it's hilarious because we reported for months and months and months now. Companies are getting out, trying to ramp back up production of petrol engines or hybrids or whatever. And here's GM, the caboose of the train. Did you guys not see the warning signs? Did you not learn anything from your acquisition of Nikola? Hello? Do what Toyota does. At least look over their shoulder. I mean, try to get ahead of everybody once.
Unrelated, they've got those apps that are advertised all over Instagram about we follow and make the stock market trades that the politicians make. Like I feel like GM needs something like that, but they need to follow Toyota, and whatever things Toyota does, like to your point, GM needs to just start doing.
Yeah.
They'll be a much better company.
Well, speaking of General Motors products, this isn't a recall, but this is really funny. So I'll just read the headline. C7 Corvette ZR1 averages 173 miles an hour in a Texas road race, but melts its butt.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this thing.
How's that happen?
I mean, that's a lot of heat.
Right. No wonder they were lighting on fire when the fuel spills and you're filling it.
This is the previous generation.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, it's
The
right.
engine's in the front.
That's right. That's right. The fuel thing's the new ones.
That also shows you the aerodynamics of the back of that car being flat. Heat gets trapped there because you would think moving at 170 miles an hour that heat would escape just by sheer force of the air flowing over the car. But it gets trapped there and it melted the back end of it.
Vortex or something.
It also doesn't help that the exhaust is all right there in the center too. But still, I mean, it melted the taillights too. It's just nuts. That's hot.
Speaking of expensive repairs,
True. What is a shop going to charge to fix that?
aren't the rear ends of these like all one piece? Not like there's a bumper you actually pull off. Isn't it all part of the back end? Yikes.
Wow, that is terrible design.
But Jake from State Farm will take care of it, so it's all good. Don't worry about it.
Exactly. And then our rates will go up.
Asian and domestic news, I have a note here that says Toyota and Mazda teaming up for the next Miata and GR86. Who put that in there?
I did.
What's that all about?
Well, apparently, which we already knew, they're ditching BMW as a partner, and now they're teaming up with Mazda, and they're going to make the next great Miata.
The NE Miata, right? The next generation Miata.
Do you want a Miata? Yeah, I want a Miata. What Miata do you want? Any Miata.
I guess time will tell. It's all pretty new reporting.
We did some independent researching that Toyota owns 10% of Mazda and Mazda owns like 0.0001% of Toyota or something like. There's some weird partnership there between the two.
That just means Toyota owns 0.0001% of themselves.
Yes,
if they own
it's
Mazda.
self-fulfilling prophecy, you know what I mean? But I'd rather see them get together than the Mazda Ford thing from 15, 20 years ago. That made no sense to me whatsoever. But I'm sure there was a reason at the time, but as an outsider, it didn't seem clear as to why those two would team up. We wondered for a while, what's the next generation Miata going to look like, or what's it going to be?
Here's the question. Is the Miata going to get bigger, or is the GR86 going to get smaller?
The GR86 doesn't need to get any smaller.
So the Miata is probably going to get a little bit bigger then.
I hope so, because I personally like the NC for the fact that it is a little bit bigger. The third generation Miata was more comfortable to drive. Yes, it didn't perform as well, and blah, 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 blah. I get it. But as a driver, it was more comfortable.
Right.
We mentioned last time the A86, not the GR86, the A86, you could get new crate motors from Toyota, right? Have you guys seen the video going around Instagram of the guy that built the A86 with the electric motor and the 6-speed manual? It is bonkers. Awesome. That's the kind of stuff we need. Now, apparently that build was partially done by Toyota because they supplied the battery pack from a Lexus and like a bunch of other stuff to make it work. It's super clean. It's really neat. And then he's got this awesome setup where we've joked about this before, but he pipes the sound of an original A86 twin cam into the car. So it sort of fools you while you're driving it. And I was like, okay, I get it now because it all makes sense. It all works together as a system, and it's actually pretty cool.
It sounds like something to compete with that Hyundai concept that they're going to make that's going to be six figures and no one can afford.
Or no, you mean the N74, whatever that thing is?
Yeah, the N70, whatever it was, the
The
N70
Normandy.
something. Yeah.
I was told at the track because I kept saying Ioniq when we were at the Hyundai booth.
You're not pronouncing it correctly?
Yeah. Why do you call it? It's the Ioniq. No, well, how come Cadillac calls it the Celestiq?
Derelict. Derelict.
Yeah, right. So I'm like, well, then it's Ioniq. You have to say it right.
Yes, I am Ioniq.
All right, Brad. Well, we're going to move on to Lost and Found, your favorite section of the drive-through, where we find out what Chuck LeDuc and Gray Chevrolet have to offer us this month. And this next one just melts my brain.
Like that Corvette's rear end.
I can't believe there's still more of these out
You
there.
can't believe that Stellantis' third quarter sales result included 6 Dodge Darts.
How is this possible?
Not only 6 Dodge Darts, but also Dodge Grand Caravan and a Dodge Journey.
This car has been out of production for almost 10 years. 10 years.
This is so fascinating.
Long game, baby.
Yes, they're playing the long game, exactly. They make such terrible cars now that they have to go back and drum up all these old cars that they couldn't sell before because what's old is new again. Clearly, what's old is new. You didn't want to buy those cars then. Maybe you want to buy them now. And sure enough, 6 new 2016 Dodge Darts were sold 9 years later.
See, this answers your question from before. What do you buy your kid today that's going to last them 20 years? You buy them a Dodge Dart. You can get them in a manual transmission. You get them brand new today at your local Dodge dealer because they're still out there.
Where do they keep finding them, though?
They got to be in like a subterranean warehouse in Detroit somewhere that people just forgot that they've got 30,000 Dodge Darts sitting there.
I think Dodge just kind of pulls them out every once in a while. There's just kind of like a trickle.
If they were smart, they would package them as some heritage model or some special paint jobs or something, or wrap them, Shelby editions or something. I don't know, whatever you want to call it.
So my kids are 4 and 2. So I've got 12 years and 14 years respectively before I need to buy a car. At that point, I'm guessing I'll be able to go to a dealer and buy a brand new 2025 Dodge Hornet because that's the new Dodge Dart, right? So
It is. Well, this next one was brought to us by Mr. Mark Hewitt.
Mark Hewitt, he's still alive.
He still listens every month, and we still get comments back. Thank you, Mark, for being a loyal drive-through listener. 61 episodes later. Headline reads, Nebraska unearths 1975 Chevy Vega from world's largest time capsule.
Can we put it back?
Come again.
Yeah, they put a Vega underground 50 years ago. Did you notice the plate on it?
Oh, there it is.
Vanity Plate Nebraska reads 2025.
Almost like they planned ahead.
They were thinking.
It's in good condition.
It's in good condition. They put it underground brand new.
But still, whatever they put it underground in,
Is this the same place they get the Dodge Darts?
that's good. It
A
didn't
bunker. It was in a bunker underground.
Well, that bunker had very good climate control.
It doesn't look like it from the pictures. Did you see the pictures of the bunker?
It looks like literally just a hole in the ground.
Yeah, it looks like where that guy built that Lamborghini in like Slovenia or something, wherever that
I
was.
mean, once it's underground, there's pretty much okay. And they had it in plastic wrap.
God.
Wait, why does it look like there's rust off the hood?
This is an advertisement for plastic wrap. That's what it is.
They put it brand new and it already has scratches on the hood?
Well, they probably had crap on top of it.
Yeah, it looks like it rusted.
It was underground in a bunker.
Of course it wasn't climate controlled.
So it rusted sitting there.
What is all this other trash they threw in this time capsule? Like,
Yeah, I want to hear more about that.
I'm sure it's everything they could find from 1975. Newspapers and magazines and baseball
poor little
cards.
Vega all alone in the dark hole this whole time.
Nobody was missing it. Okay. I'm just going to point that out.
This is its villain origin story.
And you know what's going to happen to it? Somebody's going to buy it, strip it, and turn it into a dragster. Because that's what happened with most Vegas.
That's exactly what's going to happen to this car. The race number will be 1975.
So I think we're going to try to start something new here. And it's Tanya's goal as a result of last month's mental gymnastics, trying to figure out Jonathan Pryce in the Infinity commercials and whoever this British guy is that eats the apple that we still don't know. It's like the Sinbad movie. We tried. You should have gone through the exercise with us. We were asking like ChatGPT and we asked Stephen Izzy and all these other people, do you know about the British guy eating the apple in the white suit in the commercial? Blah, blah.
I know he was somewhere. There's some sitcom where he's going to show up one day, some old TV show where he was in an episode also. One day this mystery will be solved.
Probably on Frasier.
Was he? I gotta go back and watch Frasier.
I'm just giving her an excuse to watch Frasier at this point.
I don't think you need to give her an excuse to watch Frasier.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been like 5 minutes since I've watched the whole thing, so I gotta start again.
So this little gem that Tanya found, I think we're going to try to do this every month, is find wacky car commercials that maybe have like celebrities in them. Brad, have you seen this one yet?
I think I saw it when Tanya posted it. Yes.
I would also just like to say that this gem is in the vein of the mystery British guy biting the apple at the end commercial.
And what is this commercial for?
God knows.
Canon pixel jet printers starring
Nigel Mansell.
this commercial. It's like a Japanese commercial.
Only aired in Japan.
キャノンピクセルジェット誕生
But the ending is what gets me. What is with the strawberry? What?
I don't know. And his creepy face.
What is happening?
Yummy.
That's a very Japanese thing to do, I think.
Yes.
Did you also notice that his eyebrows are as bushy as his mustache?
Wonder what else is.
I mean, I could just watch those last 5 seconds on repeat where he's like,
good.
yeah, and eating the
good.
strawberry. It's very creepy, but very satisfying at the same time. Like, I have a whole new respect for Nigel Mansell as a result of this commercial. This is amazing stuff. Amazing stuff.
Good.
Unbelievable. So, Tanya, I'm looking forward to your collection. I want to see what you come up with next for lost and found car commercials. That'll be a good one. I mean, we've already done the Ridley Scott. You remember that one where it's like, and then the turbo kicks in. Like, there's some terrible car commercials.
One of my favorite ones that I'll give you guys when I can find it, but it was the Pontiac Firebird, the Trans Am, the 4th gen from the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s. It was sitting behind a car at a traffic light. It's like pitch black or whatever. It's revving its motor. The car won't move, so it swallows the car.
It's like the Ford Ka.
Yeah, like the sport car, the evil car that kills the cats.
Do you guys remember the Trunk Monkey?
Vaguely.
Go search the Trunk Monkey commercials. Those are definitely not PC anymore.
Perfect. Right up my alley.
Definitely not kosher. All right. We said we weren't going to talk about them, but they just seem to never leave the news. And that's Tesla.
What now?
What'd those idiots do this time?
Headline reads, Tesla is urging drowsy drivers to use full self-driving. We know how this ends, folks.
With a lawsuit.
I mean, what could go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? How many countless Florida man stories? Suspect pulled over sleeping while Tesla drives itself. Blah, 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 blah. Everywhere around the world, right? I mean, come on.
I'm sorry. I thought the rules of even the full self-driving was you still had to maintain awareness and whatnot. And it's not really full self-driving. Continue.
Maybe it's like Initial D. You remember when he taped his hand to the steering wheel? That's how you defeat that part, so you can fall asleep and still be connected.
This is like when cell phones were becoming more popular and it was decided that, rightfully you should be hands-free. And so people were taping the cell phone to their head.
I am still baffled by the amount of people that go down the road holding the phone to their chin. And I look at their car and go, it's like 2 years old. It's not that hard to figure out how to make the Bluetooth work. Hello?
When I see that, I think one of two things. One, they're either borrowing a car from a friend, or two, it's a rental. Or three, they're just an idiot. That's probably the more likely one.
It's number 3, yeah. Well, speaking of what could go wrong, let's switch over to lowered expectations. What is this?
Oh, of course. There's the annual pumpkin regatta. This is racing. This is racing in pumpkins. We've covered this before. Well, they do it every year, I guess, in Oregon. And this year's pumpkin regatta winner was This dude in a 936-pound pumpkin dressed like Elf.
And the winner of this year's trip is this guy.
Look how happy he was. Look at that face. Victory. Winning. Winner.
I'm going to quote Mark Shank from like the last What Should I Buy? This is so Oregon, and I love it. And second, Brad, speaking of commercials, does this remind you of those Cuckoo Bird German dudes?
Cuckoo bird German dude.
You remember those guys?
That's not a commercial though. That was a live performance. Yes, that's exactly. Oh my God. Now I got to watch that again. Why did you do that to me? It's like Cartman and Come Sail Away. Now I got to go watch it.
So funny.
When are we going to commission a pumpkin for this?
How do you grow a 900+ pound pumpkin?
I mean, how do you row a boat?
No, I said, how do you grow? How do
Oh.
you get? How do you obtain said 900-pound pumpkin to begin with?
A lot of Miracle Grow, I think.
This guy's been competing in the Regatta since 2013.
With the same pumpkin?
Same pumpkin.
It's just gotten bigger over time. It started out as like a 300-pound pumpkin.
You know, like genetics, right? If you take the seeds from your first big pumpkin and replant them, does that mean you will get big pumpkins again?
I
Oh
don't
my
know.
God. He bioengineered a 900-pound pumpkin.
I mean, that's the only way, right?
It's a clone of the smaller of the other pumpkins.
What is this Florida man doing in Lowered Expectations? What's this all about?
The moral of this story is the next time you're pulled over because you're speeding, and this guy was doing 73 and a 55, his response to the police officers was his driving at that speed was a F you to the other drivers that were going slow.
Wow.
I don't think
Wow.
that went well.
His mugshot. My goodness.
Looks like he was on something.
Also, I didn't know a Kia Soul could do 73 miles an hour. Was it being pushed by a Silverado? Like,
It was downhill.
oh, there it goes.
Well, it's Florida. There are no hills. So I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Flatline speed of a Kia Soul. You're asking a lot. Those hamsters were rolling.
Yeah, they were.
And how fitting. We had this Florida man with a Kia Soul, and the Kia Soul is no longer going to be produced. End of an era.
Unlike the Dodge Dart, which you can still buy new.
You know, the only thing people are going to miss about the Kia Soul are those hamster commercials from the Super Bowl. That is it.
They'll have to come up in Tanya's research. Wait. We didn't hear if Tanya watched the F1 movie yet.
I have not.
Wah, wah.
There's your update, everybody. Tanya has not watched the F1 movie. Okay, moving on. Book club.
Well, sticking with Formula One, I finished another one this month by our friend of the show. Was she been on twice now? Multi-time guest, Elizabeth Blackstock. Finally got around to reading Racing with Rich Energy. This has to be one of the most incredible Ponzi schemes of the modern era. This story literally unfolds like something out of Hollywood. It is definitely a catch me if you can scenario. It's a definite read for any Formula One fan out there.
Or anybody that's a fan of Ponzi schemes.
Well, that too. This might be the manifesto for a lot of them out there. The one thing that's interesting is there's a lot of excerpts from like Twitter posts. It's kind of strange. It's the first book I've ever read hashtags, but it's part of the story, right? Is those hashtags and all this other kind of stuff. And so you're reading these little excerpts and these Twitter posts, and there's a lot of like bullet pointed lists and this and that. I mean, it's much more journalism than it is a novel, but it's still captivating. And some of the stuff that they report on just absolutely bonkers, and like how it all came together. And I was left with the same question I started with, which I think we all said when we tried Rich Energy, which, Brad, you still have a case of Rich Energy. And I took photographs of it with the book to prove that, hey, you know, it's sort of like a newspaper, you know, ransom, like this is the date, here we go. So we still have this case of Rich Energy after all these years. It tastes like Red Bull. It smells like Red Bull. It looks like Red Bull. It's made in Austria where Red Bull is made. How do we know it wasn't just Red Bull at the end of the day? And this guy was their patsy. They were adding another team without adding another team, or they were secretly funding Gene Haas without telling everybody that they were funding Gene Haas. You know what I mean? How do we know? Like, that's the part of the story I was still left at the end going, well, how do we know it's not Red Bull?
That's an interesting tinfoil hat theory you have there, bud.
I mean, what else could it be?
I mean, energy drink tastes like energy drink tastes like energy drink. I mean, they're all made from pretty much the same formulas.
Of gross.
Yeah. Except for White Monster.
Yeah, White
White
Monster is quite
sugar-free
good.
Monster with Jaeger is delicioso.
The Jaeger Monster is quite good, yeah. Rich Energy, I mean, I don't know, whatever. I mean, it's a good book. I mean, don't get me wrong. Kudos to Elizabeth and Alanis King. They did a great job. The book is available through the McFarland Press. It is now available also as an audiobook. You can get that on Spotify and through your library through Hoopla. So you can listen to Racing with Rich Energy that way if you don't want to read it. But it's always nice to have the analog version. And it makes a good stocking stuffer too. It's not a very long book. It's 200, and if you take away all the citations, it's maybe 250 pages or so, maybe less. You know, support independent writers and pick up a cool book about Formula One.
To be fully transparent, I bought the book, but I did not actually read it. But next time we go to a professional race, I need to make sure I take it with me because we may run into Elizabeth. She goes to a ton of races, so I can get it autographed. But I'll probably do the audiobook now that I know that it's available via audiobook because that's how I like
To digest your literature.
Yep.
It's time we switch to fan favorite. Are you faster than an Interceptor? I found this one this month. I found one Florida man story, and this, to me, took the cake. So somebody please explain this to me. Woman sues Volvo, claims hands-free tailgate caused brain injury.
Her?
Your expressions say it all.
She whacked her head when the tailgate opened?
No, apparently, and this is where it becomes Florida man, the tailgate closed on her head.
But don't those kind of tailgates have like a safety feature in them? So this was a Volvo?
This is a Volvo. Apparently, she was in the trunk. I don't know if she was resting her head on the sill.
Is she being kidnapped?
Her dog ran under the sensor. Volvo must have the fastest closing hatch in all of the automotive industry. And then it repeatedly, like, like a cartoon. Like, the more I read this, the more confused I was, and the more I started laughing. And I'm like, this has got to be an April Fool's joke because there's no way.
Oh.
The light bulb just went off.
No, I'm still confused because tailgates don't close that violently or that quickly. So the
Right?
first time it happens, you move your head.
They usually stop whenever they feel some sort of resistance.
The court filing summarizes that a malfunction in the defendant's automated tailgate system caused serious injuries when it struck the plaintiff in the head.
My question is, can they replicate the incident?
Yeah, on Looney Tunes.
I mean,
I would love to see this on the next Law and Order.
This baffles me. Like, I just don't understand. Do you not hear the hatch click? Normally, mine beeps. Mine's 11 years old. It goes beep, 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 beep to get your attention that it's closing. It's also not that fast. If you hit it, it usually stops or goes back up. It's not like a guillotine. Like, I don't understand what's going on here.
I could see like you not realizing it was closing and you got up and you banged your head real hard. But like if your head was laying there, head was out of the car.
If you watch the YouTube video that accompanies this, they literally show you the demo of the person using the foot thing and like how fast or slow it opens. It's not that fast.
So not only is Volvo apparently liable based on this court filing, they're trying to find the quote unquote acquaintance because she's no longer a friend. The acquaintance is liable because of her dog activating.
Yeah.
Something tells me there's going to be a movie about this. Jennifer Henry attempted to kill her friend Megan Core using the Volvo's door. I'm telling you, this is like, oh yeah, I hate that bitch. She tries to trigger it. This is like, oh, we're gonna blame Volvo. We're gonna blame Volvo, but I'm gonna get that woman out of here.
I mean, there's a Volvo. They're known for safety.
Yes.
Exactly.
I don't know. I mean, it's unfortunate if she has a brain injury, but it's hard to believe anything these days.
Judging by the court case, I think she had the brain injury before the incident.
I was thinking it. You said it.
Somebody had to.
I don't know that it's clickbait, but I don't know that she's maybe being truthful with the circumstances that actually took place.
I think Brad's right. Attempted murder is probably closer to what is really going on here. This is a little less Jersey Shore and a little bit more Law and Order.
Exactly.
Right. Well, it's time we quickly go behind the pit wall and talk about motorsports news. So you guys asked me how Petit was. Petit was awesome. It was wonderful. The weather was great.
Wish I could have been there.
Friday practice and qualifying, I spent a lot of time running around, talking to people, networking, going to booths, saying hi to former guests. I stopped by the ACO booth for a while. There's test driving Caymans, stuff like that. Just a lot of stuff going on. Race day Saturday, it took forever to get to the track. We got there in time for the race to start. The wreck that happened literally 30 seconds into the race, which caused a yellow forever. The original obligations that I had on Saturday sort of changed on me, sort of vaporized, so that it freed up my whole day. And I was able to take William around the track to every corner of the track. We spectated from literally everywhere because he wanted to take pictures, and he wanted to see and experience and all that. And it is a long race, right? It's 10 hours and change or whatever. So Petit was great. At the end, the only thing I cared about was how Aston finished, which they finished in overall second, which was absolutely incredible in the Valkyrie. I mean, they pulled it off at the last minute. The Heart of Racing team, I mean, they just did a fantastic job. I was super stoked for that. By the way, the Valkyrie sounds amazing. The only V12 in the field. You can hear it everywhere, sort of like the Garage 56 car. Like you could tell it from the rest of the pack and you could hear it from far away, and it's just absolutely awesome. So looking forward to more Aston Martin racing next year. But I felt like it was sort of anticlimactic, except for the race at the beginning. Nothing really sort of happened of any real note or any real significance. It was just a nice weekend. It was nice to be at the track, and it was nice to be amongst the IMSA paddock yet again, especially the race where the LMP cars are versus VIR, where, they unfortunately run the smaller cars.
Right.
Petit's not the important bit of news. We need to catch up and find out about Franz Herrmann and how he did at the Nürburgring.
He did fantastic.
Oh, yeah?
So he has a racing team, Verstappen.com Racing. And so his co-driver is a sim racer. And Verstappen did a Verstappen, and he was so far ahead of everybody else. The gap was ridiculous. And when his co-driver came in for his stint, that gap closed down so much that he's lucky that Max was his teammate, or he wouldn't have finished in anything. So Max is going to Max, and he debuts on the Nordschleife and dominates.
Because he's one of the best.
Apparently so.
Franz Herrmann, we're going to watch out for more Franz Herrmann action. Didn't he also exit stage right? Like he did his stint and then he pieced out. So he left his teammate there to sort of finish the race, and he didn't care how it ended.
So it looked like that, but in the end, no, he actually was, I think, on the podium with him. But it definitely looked like he was going to just leave.
That's awesome.
Which is also maxing.
Well, that sort of leads us into a conversation about Formula One. We have 5, 6 more races to go. It seems like it's unending. I mean, we still have Mexico, and we've got Las Vegas, and we got this, and we got that. We got so many races to watch before the end of the season that comes to its crescendo at Yas Marina in Abu Dhabi, which I'm super looking forward to that race because I really do enjoy that track on the Sims. So let's just talk about COTA, shall we? The U.S. Grand Prix. One of 3, because we got Miami, we've got Texas, and we've got Las Vegas. But COTA's the most interesting of the 3. I don't know about you, Tanya, but I think the sprint race was more exciting than the actual race.
I mean, the sprint race was Forza Turn 1 chaos. Absolute chaos.
I love the whole Zach Brown blames Hulkenberg and then he retracts it, and then everybody's blaming Hulkenberg, but it's not Hulkenberg's fault. Is it really Lando's fault, or is it Oscar's fault? Nobody knew whose fault it was, but all I know, there was a pile of rubble in that turn, and it was exciting.
Stroll's fault. It's always Stroll's
No,
fault.
Stroll had his own moment, which was absolutely hilarious. Who did he wipe out?
Ocon.
Yeah, and he did a hit and run. He tried to drive off. His front wheel is bouncing, barely connected, and he's driving. As he goes around Ocon, he waves at him like, "Oh, so sorry," and he tries to drive away. I was dying. It was the funniest thing I'd seen in Formula One all year. I was like, Stroll, what's going on, bro?
Wow.
Unreal. No, the sprint race was absolutely amazing. But it was good for Verstappen, right? He took an extra 8 points home. which leans into his first place win. So it's 25 points for the win.
Yep.
So now he's got 31 extra points towards the championship. And I turned to Tanya and I said, is he going to make the ultimate comeback in Formula One? Because nobody's ever done this before, even in the modern times, the old times, the Senna days, Schumacher before. Nobody's done over 100-point swing to come back and win the championship. But I think he can pull it off.
He can't do it alone, though.
There is a chance. Mathematically, he can do this as long as Oscar screws up.
And he wins everything, including the sprint races.
If Max wins everything, so just running some simple scenarios, if he wins the last 2 remaining sprint races and the last 5 races, Oscar can come in second every time except one time, and Max will win. But if Oscar comes in second every time in the races and the sprint races and Max comes in first, there's a 3-point difference.
You know what I'm going to tell you that's going to make sure that Oscar doesn't achieve that? Okay. It's 2 things.
Stroll.
The first one is Lando and the second one is Norris. Okay. So Lando's not going to let it happen. All right? He's either going to take him out or he's going to call up Big Papa Papaya, Zach Brown. He's going to say, team orders, you need to put Oscar behind me because I'm the primary driver this week. Remember? That's what's going to happen.
Mathematically, if Max wins the next 5 races and the next 2 sprint races, even if Lando comes in second in all those races, he cannot beat Max.
Oscar can't beat Max.
Lando can't beat Max.
That's what I'm saying. Verstappen's got it in the bag because McLaren's going to take themselves out.
If that happens, if they are not podium or they take each other out completely, and if Max can win every race, it's done. He is a 5-time champion.
Telling you it's going to happen. The crystal ball, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. We're not going to see the stupidity that we saw earlier this year where Max is taking people out and coming in like 13th and like whatever he was doing in the middle of the year.
He was doing that for Christian Horner.
Well, yeah, right. But I'm also wondering if some of that was like to get to this point, right? Like, all right, Max, you got to throw these races away because then.
No. Max, in the little that he lets you know about himself, because he's a very private person. And although he is having his own documentary coming out, I forget on what service.
It'd be as exciting as that Scott Dixon thing we reviewed.
Yes, because he's that kind of person. But to my point, he is not the kind of person. He would give a big middle finger to you if someone came to him and said, throw a race. He is never going to do that. He is always going to want to win. Just like, how can he race at Nordschleife in the middle of his F1 season? How can he go do GT3 racing and all this other stuff? Has any other driver ever gone and done another series? Usually it's like, oh my God, you can't even go fart in the corner because God forbid you get injured and you can't race. And yet he's out here doing whatever the F he wants because he can and he will. And he doesn't care. So there's no way I believe that he was throwing anything. His car was crap, and he dealt with it the best way he could.
Eric just wrote the next script for Drive to Survive that he's not going to watch.
I'm never going to watch.
I think also, like Max didn't start racing in GT3, sport car racing until Christian Horner left. Am I correct in saying that?
It all happened last
I don't
year,
know.
I thought.
He was doing a ton of sim racing, but he never actually competed in a
I thought he did that test with the Acura like last year and some other stuff.
Well, was it an actual official race?
The Franz Hermann is new for this year.
Well, even the sim racing, he's been told not to do it. And he's basically said, F you, because he'll do sim racing where he's racing all through the night, especially like these endurance sim racings. And then the next day, he's getting a couple hours of sleep, next day getting the Formula One car to race. And basically his answer was, I just won the race. What's the problem?
Yeah.
And I think that is a valid answer.
Touche.
Where's my number 2?
Yeah, I stayed up all night playing my sim racing, but I just came out here, qualified on pole, and then won the race. So
because he downs like a 6-pack of Red Bull. I mean, come on, it's got to be in his veins.
He's racing with rich energy.
Oh man, that's the secret formula right there. I didn't realize until I was going through all this stuff with the clubhouse and going through the vault and the pictures. When we went to COTA in 2018, it's been a minute, pre-COVID, Max was already running at Red Bull. I mean, he's been in Formula One for quite a long time. To your point, Tanya, he doesn't care anymore.
He was basically one of the youngest people. He was like 17 or something. He was like controversial too, him getting his license like at the age that he did.
I'm telling you, he's going to be up there. People are going to be talking about him like Schumacher and Fangio and Senna. He's going to be the next one. The crystal ball says so. Well, since you brought up sim racing, this weekend EA Sports gave F1 2025 away for free through Steam from Friday night through Monday afternoon, and we got our hands on it. What do we think? What do we think about the Formula One simulator?
It was a lot better than I was expecting it to be because I still remember I haven't played a Formula One race game since, I don't know, Formula One 2002 or something. I don't know, like 1998.
The last time it was free.
And it was horrible. They were like unplayable. As soon as you try to accelerate, spin like a top. And it's like every time you try to accelerate out of a corner, they're sideways and spinning and they were unbearable. But I was expecting something similar to this. And instead it was not at all like that. And it felt very smooth. And I mean, you could tell it was different than like a Forza or, some other, if you want to call it sim, some other racing game, if you will. But I was pleased with it.
Man, you played a lot newer Formula One game than I did. The last Formula One game I played was the Nigel Mansell World Championship on Super Nintendo. That's like a step above pole position.
No, I'm sorry. It was the last Formula One game I played was the Tiger handheld.
Oh man, you're going way back.
And that was the only sound effect.
Yeah, no, to your point, I tried it out too, and I liked it. Now, the question is, do I want to spend the $80 or $100 or whatever it costs
Yeah, that's the problem.
to buy it? And the problem is, here we are at the tail end of the Formula One season, and EA's like, oh, we'll give it to you for free because 2026 is coming out. And unlike EA's other products, where like WRC, they just keep adding to it. All you had to do was buy it in 2023, and they've continued to just add on to it and add on to it and add on to it. Formula One is like Madden. It was like Madden 22 and 23 and 24 and 25. So they're following that model, and that's what sucks. It's like, well, I'm going to pay full price or maybe the discounted price because of this promotional weekend. But it's like the new one's around the corner. Again, do you wait for 2026 to come out, but you're going to pay $100, or do you buy 2025 and look at Doohan, and other drivers that aren't in the field anymore, on the 2025 roster? I don't know.
My problem with those games is like how much improvement is actually made other than the roster changes. How much do they improve the game itself, the gameplay, the graphics and everything year over year? Like,
you probably played Madden or NBA back in the day, so a lot of the times it was like reskinning, new boxing.
it never really felt any different.
And every so many years they would change the mechanics, or they
Yeah.
would change the UI, or technology would advance and it would force them to change, and they couldn't just kind of lather, rinse, repeat. And I think the same is a Formula One. It's like, okay, well, we use the Ego engine and it's tuned for Formula One, blah blah blah. And so none of that stuff really changes, because if you think about it, the way the cars are shaped don't mean a hill of beans in the digital world, because there's no airflow. So the cars run at a prescribed speed and all those kinds of things. To your point, I think there's a little bit more of that regurgitation going on the Formula One side than there would be maybe in any other game or franchise,
Yeah.
Now, I will say, just to add that and it's unrelated to Formula One, but related to what we're talking about with this sim, Assetto Corsa. They came out with Evo, and Evo's been sort of because they released it pre-alpha, and every month you get an update and all this kind of thing. Behind the scenes, and unbeknownst to a lot of people, probably one of the best kept secrets in gaming right now is Assetto Corsa Rally, which has been under development for the last not 1, but 4 years. And they have their own Skunkworks division specifically dedicated to it, and it is coming out mid-November, and I am so stoked. And if you haven't seen the previews for it, it's absolutely gorgeous. They are not releasing the full game on day one, which is a little bit disappointing, but there's going to be some cool stuff come day one in November. Super excited for that. And there is one more racing game on the radar, and that is Project Motor Racing, which looks like it might be some of the guys from Simbin / Slightly Mad Studios, all those guys that used to do Project Cars, because, the name Project, they didn't fall too far from the oak tree. It looks really good. They've got licensing from Porsche, which means there's some money behind that, because you can't just willy-nilly throw the Porsche crest and the cars around without getting into some serious trouble.
Apparently they're going to have IMSA GTO racing in that game.
Exactly. And that is super exciting. So that's another one that's on my radar here for the fall, winter, whenever they finally release it.
November 25th.
2 weeks after Assetto Rally. So there we go, Brad. Spend your money on Formula One 2025 or buy 2 games for the same price.
It's kind of hard to get into with the Formula One game, which I found a little bit of a struggle as I sat there, playing it. is I enjoyed going to Coda because I know Coda from literal firsthand experience. And then you look at the rest of the roster and you're like, oh, well, I don't know any of these tracks. Like other than, yeah, Spa, I know Spa because you've played Spa in other racing games, but then it's like Miami. What a trash heap.
That is a terrible track.
Horrible, terrible course, right? Like at least, you go to something like Forza or whatever, and it's like Watkins Glen and VIR, and you have these other tracks that maybe are a little bit more familiar, which makes it fun as well, right? Because there's a little bit of attachment there. I don't know, go into some of the tracks that are in the Formula One roster. It's like, this track sucks. Like, I don't even like watching it, let alone playing it fictitiously.
Definitely got a bunch of those on my list too. So those are all in the negative column, in the con column of why I don't want to spend the $80 on, the next title of Formula One. I'd rather have something with a little bit more diversity.
Right.
Well, our motorsports news is brought to us in partnership with the International Motor Racing Research Center. So the sweepstakes is over. So congratulations to whoever won that 911T. It has not been announced yet, but we'll be keeping track of that. But I do want to point out that the Argetsinger Symposium on Motorsports History is coming up in the month of November. It is the Thursday, Friday, Saturday before Thanksgiving. So that's the week of the 21st, 22nd. And so if you're in the Watkins Glen area, you can come and check it out, or you can stream it live on our Twitch. We'll be carrying it directly from Watkins Glen to your screen, TV, laptop, whatever it is. So you can check out the Argetsinger Symposium for yourself for free. Well, guys, I guess that sort of wraps things up. So let's take it home with a Trackside report sponsored by the Northeast region at the Audi Club of America.
Some sad news in the HPDE world. Let's take a moment of silence here for some very upsetting news to hear that PittRace is closing. And there's confirmation from various sources that this is indeed true, including directly from PittRace's own site, that 2025 is the last season for any racing at the facility. They are going to be permanently shutting down.
I plan to include some of our highlights from PittRace. For those that have never seen a lap at Pittsburgh International Raceway, check out the videos that we include with the show notes. I mean, one of the most fun smiles per mile lap on the East Coast. A heck of a lot of fun, and I'm just bummed. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, it doesn't have the same character, as Road Atlanta or Watkins Glen, but it was miles above a lot of other tracks, and it's just a shame to see places like this close. And there's nothing near it. It's in the middle of nowhere. There's no developments. They claim it's going to be turned into a data center or something like that. There's a lot of speculation, but the land has been sold, and it's just like, it's really, really sad. And I put a slight article together about this too. Where are events like the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix going to go, and all the karting tournaments and all the other stuff that was happening at PittRace? It wasn't like it wasn't busy, but it just got sold out from underneath everybody. And that's sad and kind of tragic.
Everybody's got a price.
Money talks, and you know what happens to the rest of it.
But just because PittRace is closing doesn't mean there aren't still plenty of laps out there for you to enjoy. Clubs like HOD, SCDA, and Chin Track Days are running events through the fall and winter months at tracks like Lime Rock, Watkins Glen, Sebring, Daytona, Coda, VIR, and many others. Check out club.gtmotorsports.org for details.
And if you're not quite ready to hit the track, don't forget that you can find tons of upcoming local shows and events at the ultimate reference for car enthusiasts, collectorcarguide.net.
Be sure to jump back into our podcast catalog and check out other programs we offer like Screen to Speed, The Ferrari Marketplace, The Motoring Historian, Evening with a Legend, The Logbook, Break Fix, and of course, The Drive Thru. Tune in starting this month for our newest program, The Racers Roundtable.
That's right, Tanya. That is sponsored by the Eastern Museum of Motor Racing, and it's going to focus on short track and dirt track racing. And so that's going to be like World of Outlaws, sprint cars, late models, all that kind of stuff. Really interesting. We released our first episode this month, which coincides with our Sunday Niagara re-release from Watkins Glen about the history of Niagara Dragway. This actually had to do with the golden age of gassers, which is another class of drag racing. So we kind of kicked it off with something a little bit outside of their wheelhouse, but it was a really interesting conversation with both amateur and pro drag racers. So check those out, the Sunday Niagara and the Racers Roundtable Golden Age of Gassers. And I do want to mention, since we're talking about podcast episodes, stay tuned for next month where we have our holiday shopping special. And then December, normally we would do a best of, but since we're not doing Tesla this year, as our New Year's resolution continues, we're going to do December as a Formula One recap and close out the year with whether or not Oscar is the champion or Max or what the heck happened. So look forward to December as we look back over the year and see if our predictions were true by the very, very end.
And if you enjoy our various podcasts, there's a great way for you to support our creators on the MPN. There's tons of extras and bonuses to explore on our updated Patreon page. Learn more about our bonus and behind-the-scenes content, get early access to upcoming episodes, and consider becoming a Break Fix VIP when you visit patreon.com/GTMotorsports. And as always, thank you to our co-host and executive producer, Tanya, and to all the fans, the friends, and family who support Grand Touring Motorsports, as well as the Motoring Podcast Network. Without you, none of this would be possible. You ready?
You go ahead.
Outro.
Did we do it? I think we did it. Did we miss anything?
I don't think so.
Our regularly scheduled service returns in January.
The Drive Thru is our monthly news episode and is sponsored in part by organizations like CollectorCarGuide.net, Project Motoring, Garage Style Magazine, the Exotic Car Marketplace, and many others. If you are interested in becoming a sponsor of the Drive Thru, look no further than www.motoringpodcast.net. Click About and then Advertising. Thank you again to everyone that supports the Motoring Podcast Network, Grand Touring Motorsports, our podcast Break Fix, and all the other services we provide.